5 years ago, if you told me that I run my life on a Google Calendar, I probably wouldn't believe you. In fact, hearing me say that right now, I don't even believe myself. Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Mica Gonzalez. That is M-I-C-A Gonzalez with a Z. And let's talk about Google Calendar. Specifically, let's talk about how you can use Google Calendar to actually create a very productive schedule that works for you, that works great, and something that is going to make you live a happier, healthier, more productive life. In this video, I am going to show you how to actually use Google Calendar to do this weekly productive schedule. But if you feel like you've already done everything that you might need to know and just want to learn how to actually use Google Calendar, how to actually implement these things, then don't worry, you can just skip to the timestamp below and get started. So let's talk about 2 steps that you might want to get done before you actually jump onto your Google Calendar app and start creating that routine. But before we get into that, if you want to see more videos about productivity, goal setting, and creativity, then be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you always get first dibs on all my future videos. First things first, you want to create a list of all the things that you want to be doing consistently. This is just a brain dump of things that you might want to be doing more consistently. So it can be those hard to fit activities, just like working out or reading, things that you know that you want to be doing but maybe just aren't doing. Another thing you can do are non-negotiables for those big goals. Maybe you are a blogger, you're aspiring to grow your blog into this really big thing, then maybe a non-negotiable for you is doing blog work, doing content creation tasks. So get that down on the list as well. It can even be other goals that are just important to you. Maybe you want to learn how to play the piano, so you're going to want to list that down, as hobby time or learning time. On the other hand, another thing that you can do when you're making this list is to include things that you might want to do less of, and then make a little note that this is something that you want to do less of so that you can only fit it into your calendar. What I mean by this, maybe you're spending too much time on Netflix and you find yourself thinking, oh my god, I'm wasting too much time on Netflix. So what you can do is just note it down and then give yourself enough time in a day or maybe in a week. If you really want to cut it close, you can just give yourself enough time for Netflix every day or every week. So it's not about eliminating certain things, it's just about giving them a specific allotted time. And the second thing that you want to do is completely optional, but I think is very important still, is to group these tasks into broader categories. Now, what do I mean by categories? Well, it's really things that you think belong together, something that you might be able to batch or block together. An example for this are maybe tasks related to your morning routine. Maybe you're having trouble starting a morning routine, and in that routine you want to start maybe having a meditation habit, a journaling habit, dressing up for work because you're tired of working in your pajamas all day, kind of like how I got tired of doing that. So something that you can do is put everything that you want to be doing in a morning routine into a category called morning routine, and then just do this for like basically anything else. So if you're a content creator, maybe you do different things. So you do writing, you outline, you film, you edit, you do all these things. I know I do. So what you can do is group them into a category called content creation, and that's one category. So you can repeat this as many times as you need, and here are just some recommendations for the kinds of routines that you might want to have. You can have a morning routine, you can have an evening routine, you can have social media time, you can have rest time, you can do reading, you can do content creation, really just anything that you feel like will go well together. So one reason I really recommend grouping them into categories is because you want something as broad as possible when you're actually going to move to Google Calendar and making a schedule. It will get clearer as we go along and actually build out our routine, as you'll see later on, but right now is you don't want to just have like this list of every single thing that you might want to do individually plotted out in your Google Calendar. I think that it's not the most effective way to set up your Google Calendar schedule. I think that you need a little bit more flexibility, so that is why I recommend doing this step. So once you're set with these 2 steps, then we can finally move on to plotting them out on Google Calendar. So over here, I have actually opened up Google Calendar on my computer, and we are going to now use it to plot out a productive schedule. So you know all the tasks that you want to do, you've grouped them into categories, so we can just move on and actually get this started. So something that I like to do is when you open Google Calendar, this is probably what you're gonna see. Depending on the view, it might be a little bit different, but usually when I open it up, it's in a monthly view. So what you want to do is to go on the week view. This is how I like to see things just at a glance. It's the easiest for me, and it's not really day by day, and it's not too big like a month. So here's how we get started. I usually go from the time that I wake up to the time that I want to sleep, and I'll just try to order things as I go, maybe from starting the time I wake up. So let's say if I want to wake up at 6 a.m., even if I don't, like this is my goal, it still helps to have this on your Google Calendar anyway, because again, it will help you out with stuff like that. So let's say my morning routine is about an hour. So that's everything that I want to do, like breakfast, my meditation habit, whatever it is. So I'm going to drag it into just this little time block here. So I'm going to call it my morning routine. That's terrible spelling, by the way. So my morning routine, you can have fun with it, add emojis, whatever you need to do. And what you want to do is, if this is something that you want to do on the daily or something regularly, we are going to go into more options. We are going to repeat this daily. And then if this is actually optional for you, you can mark it as busy or free. For me personally, if it's something that I don't want people getting on calls with me for doing meetings with me, I will set it to busy. And then you just click save, and then it's going to populate for like everything that you might say. If this is also something that you want to do only on weekdays, you can set that. So remember, just click edit here, and then just go. You can just go every weekday. You can also do it every weekend, whatever it is. It depends on you. Just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to stick to daily. So now you're going to repeat this process for as much as you can. For the next few examples, I do want to show you how I actually do this with tasks that maybe don't repeat as often as every day. So it's not a morning routine or an evening routine. It's something that I can only do, let's say, once a week. So for this example, let's say I only have 2 days to create content. Like these are my freest days, maybe in between school or between work or whatever it is you have. So let's just say for me, I want to start creating content at 9 a.m. to 11:30. That's usually actually the time that I create content. So you can make this a content creation, that's what we'll name the block. I'm going to go to more options. And depending on when it is that you want to do this, you can set it to as often as you want. Now, this is actually a custom thing that I'll need to set in my Google Calendar because it doesn't really have a setting built in for Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm going to have to do that myself. So over here, we go to custom, repeat on Tuesdays and Wednesday, and you can actually set when it ends, but for purposes of this video, we are going to say that it never ends. We're going to be creating content every Tuesday and Wednesday for the rest of our lives. So go hit done, go hit save, and it's going to populate. So if we go to like all the other weeks, it's going to be there. So I find that pretty cool. So just for another fun example, I'm going to add another thing that I might not be doing daily, just so that we can really see this calendar fill out. So let's say on Friday, something that I want to do every Friday is maybe for an hour or two review my analytics for my blog and my business. Again, it depends on what you want to be doing regularly. It can be something like reviewing your budget, reviewing how much you spent in a week, or studying. I don't know. It just depends on you. So just be sure to plot things out exactly as you might imagine them to go. So here I'm going to say analytics review, and I'm just going to go to more options. I'm going to make that repeat every weekly on Friday. There we go. I was kind of worried there that I wouldn't find that option. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out the rest of this calendar, and then later on I will show you all the cool stuff that you can do because of your Google Calendar schedule, how to move things around, how to actually make this more productive and work for you. So I'll catch you in the next one. So I've just finished filling mine out, and this is just for an example's sake. So depending on you, whatever you have, whether you have regular meetings, you have regular classes, whatever it is that you might want to put in, make sure that it's on there. And now I want to show you some cool things that you can do with Google Calendar now that your schedule is here. So how do you actually make this more flexible? How do you adapt to things as you go? So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So let's just say, for example, on this Monday, I woke up later than 6 a.m. And let's say I woke up even later than 6:30. So I maybe woke up at 7 a.m. Does that mean that I can't do my morning routine? Not really. You can still do it. So something that I recommend doing is, if you do need to move stuff down, all you have to do with Google Calendar is to move stuff. Just drag and drop, and you're pretty much set. So for example, I woke up at 7 a.m. this day, and that just means that I just have to move down my schedule by an hour. Depending on how I see myself in my day, I can either move this thing down. So in this case, it's a workout thing. I can move it way down in my day, or just a little bit. It really depends on you. So you can just squeeze it in another time. So let's say it's no big deal for me. I woke up an hour late. That doesn't mean that it's too late for me to do my workout, but I don't want to squeeze it too tight in my schedule, because after all, I have client work at 9 a.m. and maybe my workout's an hour long and I need time to, shower and stuff. So something I will do is, for example, I will move it down all the way to maybe tonight at 5 to 6, something around that time. And if Google Calendar asks you how you want to do this, something that you can do, if it's just for a one-day thing, you pick this event. If it's something that you want to make a permanent change to, then this and following events. And the same with all events, but all events kind of changes the past, so I would only stick to these two options. So in this case, I only want to change, today. So I'm going to only pick this event. So as you can see, this workout block moved all the way down here, but the other workout blocks for the entire week are still intact. Now, I also use Google Calendar as kind of a retrospective diary just to help me know what I did with my time. So if this was the day that I woke up late, I am going to move it down to 7 to 8 just so that I know when I actually move things down, and I'm actually aware of maybe patterns in my behavior. Maybe I know that waking up at 6 a.m. has been really hard for me, and I've been waking up at 7 a.m. the past 3 days, the past 5 days, something like that. And editing my Google Calendar to reflect this is just really helpful, and it's data for me to actually get to know where my energy is, what I actually like doing at this time. It's really just about, getting to know yourself, getting to your natural energy and things like that. Another reason that you might want to move things around are maybe days you got sick. So if there was a day where you intended to create content but you were feeling sick or something came up, life happens. Something you can do is just drag this block somewhere down to the future. Maybe, okay, I'll make up for my lost Tuesday content time and I'll move it to that Saturday. So I'm just going to move it just like that. So the more that you do this, the longer that you do this, you're actually going to see how you actually spend your time. Maybe your ideal schedule that you set in the beginning of your Google Calendar thing is very different from the way that you're actually going about your day. So that's actually okay. It's important for you to tune into that. So just make sure that you are constantly reviewing where your time went, what you actually did during specific hours of the day, so that if you need to make permanent changes to your routine, permanent changes to your Google Calendar, then at least you already have that data right in front of you. This is one of my absolute favorite ways to actually become more productive because I am working with a schedule that works for me. I don't base my calendar based on anyone else's, even from people that I maybe idolize or maybe find to be really productive. I don't base it on their schedule, on their routines. I base it on mine and mine alone. And it's on that note that I end this video. If you do want to share your Google Calendar schedule with me, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Mica_Gonz. I love seeing you guys implement the stuff that I recommend. And as always, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. It all helps me out. Yeah, I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you in my next video very soon. Bye!